installment of One Hub Racing qualifying night for season 18, brought to you by Next Level Racing, Liam RBS, 3M Sim Racing, partnered with Vespertine ERT in collaboration with Time to Print. I'm your commentator, Peter Knighton, and joined with me is my co-commentator, Matthew Redmore.
How do you do? Thank you for having me on tonight. I'm going to be looking forward to see what times people can set around this challenging track around Bahrain. You've seen how they can nurse the tyres around here and to see what pace the drivers have.
Yeah, we're looking for quick times for this qualifying night. We've already had 2 installments with 40 drivers setting their paces to put a print on to see what tier they're going to be in for season 18. A range of drivers, some I do recognise and have raced with before, as well as yourself, Red Matt. Who in this list do you think is going to be setting those high tier times for this season?
I honestly don't know. I recognise a couple of faces in this list. On terms of who I know who has good pace is ERT Jordan. So I'll be looking to see what he can do in that Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
But I reckon it's going to be quite a close session, because I know with races I've raced with the drivers I know, with Risky and Jordan, they've always been quite close on track.
So this is a 30-minute practice session for drivers to show us and show the One Hub tier, people who are putting the tiers together, to see what tiers they're going to be in. They have to set their quickest time on the softest tyre, so the softs. They can do practice laps, probably to get used to the track, know where the limits are, know where to find the pace and the grip, and over time probably put some rubber down to run those softs towards the end of the session. But if you haven't set a quickest time on the softs, it won't count. And I'm not going to lie, you're probably making it a little bit harder for our One Hub directors sorting out the tiers.
Yes, try and make it a bit easier for the admins team. You know, they put a lot of effort into season 18 of One Hub, which is probably going to be one of their biggest seasons yet.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
One thing we're looking towards the end of the F1 2020 game, everyone's sort of got an idea of what the setups are like, how the cars are feeling, so we're sort of towards the end of F1 2020, it will be the quickest probably the drivers will be on this game before we move on to the next generation of game.
Exactly that. And this is these drivers' final chance to prove themselves on this game, that they can put themselves in a tier where they're fighting for the championship.
One of the new things for this season is the task system. And I've not read it properly, but everyone's on the soft tyres and lots of
Just a quick note, Matthew, your microphone's a little bit out of tune. It keeps getting quieter and higher for some reason. I don't know whether it's a little fault or something.
Is that better?
No, you sound quite high pitched, to be honest. I'm not sure whether your microphone's in properly.
Okay, what I'll do is I will mute my microphone until I have this issue. So I apologise for this.
No worries. So we have a few drivers out on track already. As I said, only 30 minutes around the Bahrain circuit. Lap time you're looking for, without max fuel mixture, I'd say you're looking for the 126s, maybe even pushing those 25s. But as you're running lower fuel and on the softer tyres, you'll be able to go faster, and you'll be knowing the grip around the track, because it's not night time. It's not the usual race settings for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So this is like the 2021 test where they were in the daylight. So a lot of drivers are on mediums, getting themselves warmed up with the track. I notice a few drivers are choosing soft tyres for their first runs, and one hard runner, ERT Jordan, as Lawrence, the driver I've not seen or raced with, so hopefully he can perform well. I will stay on board with him as we run around this beautiful circuit. Down into turn 1, late apex. You want to get the nice exit through turns 2 and 3 and on to essentially the second DRS straight. The main straight is the first, second DRS straight down towards turn 4 and towards the end of the first sector. 28.3 in the first sector, and he's coming up to a little bit of traffic, but I'm pretty sure everyone in front of him are on laps or will be pushing for laps, so hopefully he doesn't get caught up in any traffic such as his teammate. Have you fixed your issue, Matthew?
Testing 1 2 3.
It's a little bit better. We'll see how it runs, but I can hear you, and I hope everyone else can hear you as well, as long as your voice is on share.
As long as you're not hearing me, that's alright.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so you can put up with me now, that's okay.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lawrence coming into the second sector, split 106.8, round the final couple of corners. Colin R. Mason, first time on the board on the softs, as I mentioned, 26s, mid 26 for our first time.
On the medium tyre, which is about 7.5 difference in the soft and medium size, so finding their pace towards the end, because towards the end is when the track will be at its prime.
Exactly.
To see what drivers can do. We're already in the 126.5s, really, for a first lap, which is respectable.
It is. Nearly 5 minutes into the practice session. About 15 drivers out on track, putting rubber down. So as they burn fuel, they probably loaded the car with a decent amount of fuel, probably did run a few laps, and then push for those quick times on the softs towards the end.
Dangerous rejoin there from Risky, but luckily the ghosting system came into effect there.
Was he trying to get away out? Was he trying to get away from getting in the way of people on laps, or
highly likely, but to me it looked like a spin, because it's unusual to be completely off track at the start of sector 2, but that's turn 5 to 6.
Yeah. Risky racing in the pink Racing Point, which will no longer be pink in the new game of 2021. We'll be seeing Aston Martin on the grid for probably season 19, but every driver here gets their own individual race number, and we'll probably spot a few as we go through this practice session. Risky's is the number 37 and currently sat in P9 now as another driver improves their lap time, and Risky dives into the pits.
As Jordan has just gone faster in sector 1. Keep an eye on him. He's on the hard tyre and he's in medium revs at the moment, as I can see at the moment on the task system, which is, I believe, how much information, how much telemetry do you use at the moment. So it's a lot to take in, but this is, of course, qualifying night. It's the first night of me and Pete commentating for One Hub, so we're all still learning, but we'll get there in the end.
We will get there in the end. I'm sure as we progress through the season, the more opportunities we get in the commentary box, the better we'll be able to perform.
Yay.
And hopefully I'm not going to push our luck, but competition for that commentator's trophy sounds like a prize worth fighting for.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Woo! Sorry, I get a bit hyped to it. Anything to win. If I can't win on track, at least let me win
in the box.
Commentary. Oh gosh, my luck's got to be somewhere.
Indeed. See if we can catch a driver. Ali B is starting his lap. He's currently in the Red Bull on the soft tyres, and no one yet challenging that 26.5. Closest a Salty Bear on the mediums with a 27.6. Yeah, Ali B purple based on this game in the first sector, Sometimes it isn't exactly purple, but hopefully it is, because we want to be seeing someone keep flicking that number 1 spot time, showing where people's drivers' paces are. And I hope that each tier will be as close in every qualifying and race session throughout the season.
I'm just looking to see where that's on track. Has left the pits. I don't know who player 12 is, unfortunately. But I know who has left the pits on a fresh set of soft tyres is Payne's Dead. So he's going out on a fresh set of soft tyres, which is early on. But if I was me in the driver's shoes, I would sort of wait for the last 5 minutes when the track's at its peaks and the temperatures have cooled down a little bit.
Maybe so, but at the moment he's set his best time on the mediums in P4, so now hoping to make around the second minimum improvement in the Mercedes. Number 86 for Payne's Dead.
Going on track at the moment. Got Aero Specialist who's out on an outlap on a fresh set of soft tyres as well. People coming out on the fresh set of softs now.
Yeah, maybe want to start showing off.
See if they can challenge that 126.5 of Colin Mason in the Williams.
Ali B, as I mentioned earlier, is set that time 2/10 or 1.5 tenths shy of Colin R. Mason.
If you want to even know why all performance is equal, there's a Williams on top.
We wish we had Williams back fighting at the front, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Oh, honestly, definitely. I mean, progress in the season, there's signs of progress, but it's clear to me they're focused on the season after, which I think also other teams that are struggling are focusing on as well. But let's get on to the track action now, as Aerospecial had a bit of a lock up into turn 1. Tricky traction zone out to sector 3, which next year on the 2021 cars currently, traction seems to be a bit of an issue. So make the most of the traction this year, folks, because it's going to be a bit more harder next season from what I've seen so far.
Some might say it might have been a little bit tame on this year's game, but it gets people starting to use and get used to no traction control. So yeah, Aero Specialist, this is the hardest corner I find on this track. Turn 10, a downhill left-hander where you have to brake while turning and using no ABS. 9 times out of 10 you will lock up, but if you get that braking just perfect and sweep it just on the inside of the curb, hitting the apex, getting the car straightened up on the exit, you should get a nice clean run onto the DRS straight. But here he's ending his lap. 27.8 is his best so far, set on the mediums I assume, yes, and is hoping for a second plus improvement.
Looking towards the end of Ali B's lap at the moment, you had purple sector 1 for 27.8, currently in rich revs at the moment. He's also gone faster in the middle sector, not purple though, but he's done an improvement, 37.1 to Payne's Dead 36.9, so it's about 2/10 lost in sector 2 there, so it looks like he's carrying a bit less wing, is Ali.
Get a flags in the end of sector 1, start of sector 2, well, near the middle of sector 2. I'm sure that was an Alfa Romeo off the track. I'm not sure who it was. It's either Don Bear or wait.
Was it in sector 1?
It was in sector 1. It's in front of a Mercedes. It could be a Ferrari. But
if it was the Alfa Romeo, it would have been Don Duber. He's done a 30.9, which is 3 seconds off.
Yeah, it was.
Car.
It was one Don Duber, number 25 car, 26.7. You can see these times starting to tumble. 26 is where we were starting to progress down. Now we're hoping for some 25s. Still a long way to go in this session. 18 minutes.
Look at the other Red Bull of Lawrence at the moment, who has currently put a fresh set of soft tyres on, who was purple with a 27.6, but someone else has gone even faster in sector 1, which is Colin on a 27.8. Times are tumbling now, as you say.
Yeah, definitely. Colin realising that he's got to find a little bit more pace now. His time's been toppled twice, and as you say, with what I like about TAS as well, on my screen on the map it shows the sector was purple. You told me that it wasn't. Gives me a good inclination of how the lap's actually going to unfold, rather than me having to trust this game's mechanics.
As that tricky left-hander, Salty Bear, has fallen victim. He's locked up, and the car just did not want to have any of that and went off, and now his lap's invalidated, which he was on a good lap. He was perfectly in sector 1. So, bear in mind his current lap time on the board in P11 of a 127.6 is on the medium tyre.
Just a worthy note, coming up to the halfway stage of the session, 2 drivers yet to set a valid lap time of F1 Fast, who is in the pits, and Lee Hoffner, who has now set a time of a 29.2. Oh no, it wasn't Lee Hoffner, it was Goggs who hadn't set a time. He now has set a time of 28.2 on mediums. My apologies.
Yeah, I noticed when he set that lap he was on medium revs. He wasn't full bean, so I wonder if he's waiting on, like I said when the session was first starting, is that he's just waiting for the track to be at its peak. So he's trying to save the tyres, so he's got more of a chance to get a good lap in.
Great lap once again from ASW Colin of a 26.1. Gets himself back top of the times. So we're getting ever closer to those 25s. Still, people haven't set times on the softs. They need to make sure they do, otherwise their time will not count.
So everyone's sharing a purple sector. So Lawrence has the fastest sector 1 with a 27.6. Payne's Dead has the fastest sector 2 of a 36.9. And then Colin has the fastest sector 3 of a 21.3. So it seems, I don't know if they just had a better line through there, or they all have different setups where one car's stronger than the other.
Interesting, you mentioned that Lawrence got the fastest sector 1. His best times at the moment is still only a 27.1 on soft tyres, so that he must have made a mistake on his lap to the second and final sector.
I mean, in the middle sector he loses 5/10, and in the final sector, compared to the fastest lap, is around 7/10. So it's looking like he's pushing really hard in sector 1, and his tyres are just overheating for the rest of the lap.
What we noticed in real Formula 1 is that when you're pushing on that lap, if you use the tyres too much in the first 2 sectors, then it's not going to be very beneficial in the final sector for grip. That's probably where you'll lose the most time. And that's probably the keyest moment. It is only 2 corners essentially, but there is time to lose in those 2 corners if you haven't got the tyres.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty impressive as this task system, because you sort of know where drivers are losing time, and you know who to focus on, really, on who's going quicker. So, yeah, it's... I need this more. I want to drive so I can go quicker now.
Yeah. Right. Let's see if anyone's on laps. I believe Rich 500 in the 52 Racing Point. So far, best lap 27.2. He did that on softs. He's on softs again. Fresh set. And I'm not sure of his usual pace, but hopefully he can drag himself into the 26s.
Okay. Right.
And the final corner. Up to the line. DRS wide open. He does make an improvement in lap time, but he is just shy of getting in those 26s. He is exactly 7 thousandths slower than Speed Risky in the other Racing Point. These 2 drivers are yet to get into the 26s, but that could be all the pace they've got in this practice session. 12 minutes and 52 to go.
Crikey, that's gone down quick.
You think so, but when it gets to those final few laps, everyone's going to be out on track if they want to make sure they get their best opportunity in the tiering system.
I think we've seen currently who is on the lap. I'm just looking at the sector times. Unfortunately, some drivers have not configured their cards properly, so I'm not 100% sure on who that driver is.
If you could see what their fastest lap is, I could probably pick them out for you.
That's quite handy, actually. Thank you.
As Risky makes an improvement into the 26s, 26.767, slots himself inside the top 10 on the timing sheet. 30 thousandths of a second behind Okeke, and less than a tenth behind Aerospecialist in P7. Very close. Some of these times, it could be that thousandths of a second difference that could split you between being in one tier or another.
Yeah, this is actually a lot closer than I thought it'd be. I must say, because I was looking at the other sessions. I think the fastest time so far was a 25.2. I think that was by Jamie.
That's a decent lap time.
J-Luke.
Yeah, decent lap time there.
Apologies, 25.4. So we're yet to break into the 125s yet.
Indeed, I'm sure there'll be some more time to find. Let's see if we can get ourselves a driver on a lap. Waitsy, I believe he's on a lap. He's in. Oh, he's got a hot lap on, so he's definitely going for it. DRS wide open. Look at his fitted tyres. Yeah, brand new set of softs. Currently in P10, 26.8. Even a tenth will put him up 2 positions.
Currently on lap as well is Ali B, who's done the personal best in the first sector, but it's not purple. Another personal best in sector 2. There's not really much of an improvement. It is an improvement, it's only by a mere thousandth, so it's not mind-boggling, but it's an improvement, which is better than nothing.
Yeah, I've moved off Waitsy onto Ali B because Waitsy invalidated his lap time, so he probably had to recharge the battery and go again. Ali B bails on his lap, realises he wasn't improving that enough to feel like to set that lap time.
Yeah, I noticed at the end of his lap he derated. So I wonder if some drivers, maybe that tricky left-hander, I wonder if any drivers have thought about turning the ERS off to stop him from derating towards the end.
Possibly, but
it's amazing how much time you can gain on that back straight.
Yeah.
On the main straight, sorry.
Let us find the driver on a lap.
Currently looking
Aerospecialist has gone off in sector 2. He's got to shove it in the gravel to make sure he doesn't join back on track dangerously. Luckily for him, no incidents on the track. He kept it out of the wall, no damage from what we can see. And
I'm going to keep an eye on Tech 31 Racing here. He's doing the fuel burning tactic here, so he's going for a proper run here now. But I'll keep an eye on his run and let you know if he is going any faster.
Right, we've got Waitsy going for round 2. Not invalidated this time. Hopefully he can get a good time on the board. Anywhere between a couple of tenths can shoot you up the table towards the top 5. It's that close, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not even a race and I'm getting a bit excited.
You just want to see who can pump in those quick lap times.
The great thing about this is you don't even need a setup to worry about tyre wear. It's full on speed and I've just jinxed Tech. He's just spun it out on his outlap. He's clipped the curb on the high speed right hander towards the end of sector 2. That is a really nasty curb, that.
Yeah,
I've done that many times.
Any damage, or I'm not sure. I think damage might be off. So
damage is off, but he would have cooked his tyre. So I wonder if he's boxing this lap.
Possibly. We'll see if we can find another driver on a lap. Aerospecialist.
I'm not going to ride on Bodwin.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Keep an eye on. Actually, no. Keep an eye on him. See if he does go for continue the lap, or is he coming? He hasn't come into the pit, so he is going for the
no,
lap.
He is on the lap, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. I'm going to keep an eye on what his sectors are like.
Okay, we've got Aero Specialist. Sorry, you go.
Don de Beer is currently purple in the middle sector of a 36.9. Driver to watch there. He's currently in rich mix with 0.7 laps of fuel in, so it is a glory run for him.
Just saying that, Don de Beer crossed the line with an invalidated lap time, so he didn't improve that purple middle sector. He could have ran wide out of the corner at the end, at the start of the third sector. That's a very tricky corner to. You want to run wide, get that curve, but if you go over the white line, it will invalidate your lap time. So that's probably what has happened, or even at the final corner. So Aero Specialist invalidated his lap time as well. So people are trying to push those track limits to see if they can find that extra half a tenth. But at the moment, a lot of drivers invalidating and being unsuccessful.
A lot of drivers are playing around with, because I've noticed on practice, they have hot lap available as well as overtake. So they've got 3 ERS modes to use. They can actually just turn it off, put it in race mode, overtake, and hot lap. I've just noticed that.
Yeah, that's probably why they're derating.
Yes. The McLaren of Salty Bear has gone quicker with a 126. Well, saying that, instead has gone even quicker than the Mercedes. 26.0. Are we going to see the 25s here?
Very close. 6 minutes to go, so you're probably looking at about maybe 1 or 2 more runs if you're lucky. If you're out on track now doing a love run, you could get back in as Rich 500. On my screen he's gone purple. I'm not sure on task whether he has, but he's got in a nice slipstream from a Renault in front of him. The Renault does get out of the way as he enters the final corner. At the moment he's in 17th, 27.0. One of 4 drivers yet to break the 26s. He's derating, but up to the line. It is an improvement. He is in the 26s, but it's no change in position.
5 minutes. Almost 5 minutes to go now. We're going to see the last flurry of cars going out on track. So the track's all rubbered in. Surely we'll be seeing a 125. The drivers here,
so.
I know of which 2 have the pace to break into that 125 barrier. It's just look how tight it is between the top 3.
Maybe they don't want to show their hand too early, but obviously if people know what their pace is like from previous seasons, what tiers they were in, if they know they haven't performed as well as you think they should have, then maybe there can be a switch around to even out pace in each tier. But at the moment I feel like a 25 is probably what people want to do. If you put yourself there with a 25, you're showing people that you've got the pace and you can challenge for wins, podiums and even the titles.
Ali B is nearing towards the end of his lap. He's done personal best in Sector 1 and Sector 2. He's gone a 10th quicker in both sectors, so he's 2 tenths up at the moment. Comes across the line. Where will this put him? 26.2.
No change in position, but a great improvement in lap time, 26.2. Half a tenth behind Colin, who's still in the pits. Everyone probably going to stay in the pits now until the final 2.5 minutes to get the best track evolution, essentially, track rubber, and we might even see a Monza style traffic jam. Hopefully not. At the moment we haven't seen anyone holding anyone up. Everyone's been cleanly getting out of the way. It's been excellent to watch, and some fantastic lap times have been shown to us.
Looking at the moment now, I'm in the Alfa Romeo of Whitesea, I think.
Whitesea? Yeah, Whitesea.
Whitesea, that's his name.
If it's incorrect, please correct us. I'm only going off what I can see on my screen of how it looks to be pronounced. It could be incorrect, but I'm going to go with Whitesea.
It looks like he's on the rush to try and get into the pits to try and get another lap out. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze, that. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get another lap out as the I almost said Force India, the racing point of Risky gets out of the way.
I think this Alfa Romeo is on the lap. It could be bailing it to come in, but at the moment he's using all of his energy. Hot lap is on. Does he take this lap or go into the pits? He does bail into the pits. He was pushing back into the pits, and I think he's got himself. It might have cut it too short. Mercedes comes out in front of him. Everyone else is starting to come out now, and will be on their out laps, looking to set quicker times. Jordan, one of the first, already starting his final lap time in the AlphaTauri. P10 at the moment, 26.5. Look how close the grid is from P5 to P10.
Ridiculous.
90 odd thousandths of a second.
Ridiculous.
So even a 10th improvement can sell you up the order and put yourself in a good position.
Jordan on improvement in the first sector. Fozzie Bear an improvement in the first sector. 5/10 shy though off Jordan's best first sector though.
Fozzie Bear down in 19th, best time 27.5. So there's a second difference in Delta. Anyway, Jordan has invalidated his backing off. Hopefully he has enough fuel to go again. We'll try and drag it onto a...
He has 3.4 laps of fuel on board, so yeah, he will do, but will the tyres have enough life left in them?
Very true. He was coming to the end of the lap, and that was the sector of this lap where the tyres start to die off when you're pushing as hard as you can. And hopefully he hasn't used all of that grip on that run that he invalidated. And
the scene who's got a good first sector closest to the fastest first sector at the moment. At the moment it is Gogs 0407 in the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he's coming on to the straight.
Saying that, I've just jinxed him and he's just invalidated his lap. I'm just not going to mention if anyone's on an improvement now, because every time I've said they're on an improvement, they've gone wide.
So Aerospecialist made a nearly 2/10 improvement in the first sector. I was on board with him while you were talking about, was it Gogs? And he's coming up to a little bit of traffic at the end of the final sector. There's a Mercedes spun at turn 12. People have to be very careful of that. I believe it's gone now. Yellow flags have been cleared.
Purple middle sector for Tech 31 Racing in the Renault as he comes across the line. He's derated across the line. Will this be the fastest lap of the session? No, it won't be, but it's a 2/10 improvement to push him up into P6. And that's his session done for qualifying for One Hub.
Back to Aerospecialist. Final corner. Derating once again up to the line. Only an 8,000th improvement. He was 2/10 up in the first, so he must have made a mistake.
I'm on board with OKK right now as he goes towards the end of his lap. As OKK is in the personal best in the middle sector. He's not got a lot of ERS left to play with. He's gone a bit wide at the last corner there. He's gone a bit too far off the track and got dirt on his tyres there, really. Derating across the line. Does this push him up the order? No.
No improvements. 3/10 down.
13. Unlucky for some.
Lawrence on a lap, but Don Bear is invalidated. So Lawrence, I believe, our last driver with a time to set in this third session of quali at this practice. 26.8 in P17. And Fozzie Bear, being loaded back into the pits, did not decide to cross the checkered flag. And that is the end of this 30-minute practice session for quali night. I hope you've all enjoyed seeing the lap times fill our screen. We didn't manage to get ourselves into 25s, but some very close lap times throughout the field, all the way. It's a second between 18 drivers. A second.
Wow.
Well, not even that. 9/10. 9/10 between 18 drivers. What if that was a legit quali session in One Hub? That had been an insane session for a grid. Yeah.
Well, Just try. Hopefully, it's just made your lives a bit easier because these lot possibly might be all in the same tier. They're all that close with each other.
Yeah. So, I'm going to end it here. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for this third instalment of Quali Night, brought to you by Next Level Racing, Liam RBS, 3M Sim Racing, partnered with Vespertine, ERT, and in collaboration with Time to Print. Tune in to the next Quali session, which I believe will be on Twitch. I'm not 100% sure, but that is around to start now. Please tune in.
100%. Apologies.
And we'll speak to you all next time.